but still they shine. Deserve the truth, deserve their time. Too many lost in a system blind, but Sinner carries here. We realign, we bring the facts that care, the light to help you age and win the fight. We gon' be alright. Yes, we will. When the truth comes through the mic, speak it still. Information, hope, and care. That's the power of Sinner care.
That opening, truly the opening gets me every time. Welcome returning and new listeners to another incredible episode of Sinner Care, produced and hosted by Tam Lawrence. This incredible podcast is supported by Exposure Plus TV, a television app available on all streaming television platforms. Download the app on your Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android television, or simply search your mobile app store for Exposure Plus TV. Sinner Care's public and media relations parent firm is The Savant, a flagship product developed by Art and Kingsley Agency. The agency has a 5-star rating on Google. Its award-winning public relations team are known for their innovation in developing strong brand campaigns for causes and crisis. Visit The Savant by going to findsavants.com. Now let's get into it with your host, Tam Lawrence.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sinner Care. This is an amazing and incredible project. We started out with aging in America, and then we just kind of ramped up. So once we got our numbers to where we thought, okay, let's take it back to the collective. And so the board decided anonymously to say, hey, listen, we need to have Sinner Care on the front line. And so here we are on the front line. And so Sinner Care is all about preventing abuse, neglect, and crimes against seniors. I am Tam Lawrence, and I've been through the experience of caregiving. I've also been through the experience of seeing probate court rip away our family legacy. And I experienced 4 deaths in the past 2.5 years. So I can tell you what it's like to have your wonderful, amazing family with you, because I care for my mom. And I can tell you what it's like for them to pass on and what the outcome will be. If you're not proactive, you will be reactive. So you're joining me here on Sinner Care. We are on Substack. We are also happy to be supported by Exposure Plus TV. Don't forget to download the application. The subject today that we are talking about is wiping out generational wealth, and how property taxes and all of the redevelopment projects and gentrification has done that in certain areas. And we will see an increase of this happening as taxes increase. I have developed several different applications and studies for my colleagues to go ahead and break down for you. I'm going to leave for right now and leave you in the hands of the best on this side of heaven personalities for a podcast, and I'll be back at the end. Okay, so please tune in, comment, listen. Be sure to join Exposure Plus TV, and families that are looking to navigate the system, be sure to go to centercare.com and join the collective. It is 100% free. And our job is to investigate and publicize anything that is wrongfully done towards aging or their family members. So listen, we are here for you. We are reaching over 440 million households. Let's go. So jump right on in. I'm going to go, but I'll be back right after these messages.
Across America, a quiet crisis is unfolding, not with hurricanes or housing crashes, but with the very policies that were meant to fund our public schools, our streets, our services, property taxes. While invisible to many, they're becoming the silent hand that's pushing families, especially Black and brown families, out of their homes, stripping away the very thing they've worked to pass on, generational wealth. And imagine owning a modest home in Baltimore. You've lived there for years. Maybe it was passed down to you. Maybe you scrimped and saved to make it yours. But each year, the city sends you a new bill, bigger than the last. And suddenly, your taxes don't match your reality. From 2019 through 2023, over 44,000 Baltimore properties were listed at municipal tax sales. That's not just a number. That's tens of thousands of families on the edge of losing everything. Not because they took out bad loans or failed to pay a mortgage. No, because their property was over-assessed by the government. And the kicker? 92% of those homes were in majority non-white neighborhoods. End quote. Property taxes are supposed to be based on the value of your home, but what happens when those values are subjective? According to an analysis by ABC-owned television stations and data from ATTON and the U.S. Census Bureau, the answer is injustice.
Hey, Kara, let's give them a couple of recommendations for those who are going to be attending the city common council meetings or property tax state meetings so that they know exactly what to fight for.
Here's a few policy recommendations. Ban surplus seizure. Require states to return excess funds from tax sales to the former homeowner. Implement fair assessment reviews. Mandate external audits in high disease zones. Senior property tax caps. Protect fixed income elderly from unsustainable hikes. Public awareness campaigns. Inform vulnerable populations of their rights and options. Municipal accountability measures. Track, publish, and act on racial disparities in tax sales. This is not just about taxes, it's about human dignity, systemic manipulation, and the quiet theft of wealth from the very people who helped build this country. As the Asian population grows, the stakes rise. Without urgent reform, more seniors will be pushed out of their homes, losing not just property, but peace, safety, and legacy. What we allowed to happen to our elders will one day be what we inherit ourselves. Consequences of inaction. More seniors will die homeless or in shelters. Families will lose generational wealth before they can inherit it. Communities will continue to destabilize under extractive municipal practices. The American dream of homeownership becomes a nightmare of forced displacement.
Hi, this is Tam Lawrence, and I really appreciate you for staying and listening in. Please make sure that at the end of this particular episode, go over to Centercare.com and register. It's a complete free platform for families in aging to register. And so coming up right here, this is going to be the sauce and the seasoning of my
Welcome
research.
to the deep dive.
And I've had two of my
Today, we're
colleagues to
jumping
go
into
ahead and break
something
it down.
that
So let's dive in.
really hits close to home for a lot of people.
Yeah, the whole idea of home ownership in America.
Exactly. It's always been pitched as more than just shelter, right? It's supposed to be how you build wealth, leave something behind, especially, for working class families, minority
The
communities.
foundation for a legacy.
But there's this twist, something kind of quiet but really damaging that's going on.
The weaponization of property taxes.
That's it. So in this deep dive, our mission is to unpack this trend called highballing property tax assessments.
Where values get artificially pumped up.
Yeah, inflated. And the consequences are just, devastating. We're going to explore how it's forcing people, especially seniors, out of homes they've owned forever.
Wiping out that generational wealth they built.
Exactly. And we're basing this on some really solid research by Tam Lawrence, specifically her work, Highballed and Homeless. It lays out the data pretty starkly.
It does. And highballing, it sounds almost casual, but it's the core of the problem, deliberately overassessing a property's value.
So it's not just a mistake, like, oops, got the numbers wrong.
Not usually, no. The research points to it being more systemic, often tied to speculation.
Speculation, how does that work? Because these homes aren't suddenly getting bigger or fancier, right?
Right. It's often driven by things happening around the home. Think gentrification, big commercial developments nearby.
Ah, okay. So stuff that makes the area seem hotter, even if the house itself hasn't changed?
Exactly. Assessors look at comparable sales comps. But if speculators are paying crazy prices nearby, those comps drag everyone's assessment up.
Even long-term residents.
Especially them. Particularly in communities of color, you see values maybe tripling, sometimes more.
With no actually improvements to the house.
None. It's purely on paper, based on that external market churn.
So, okay, the value triples on paper. What does that actually do to someone's yearly goals? Say, a senior living on Social Security.
That's the brutal part. That paper value hike leads directly to a real, much higher tax bill.
A huge jump.
Huge. And for seniors on fixed incomes, maybe they've lived there 40, 50 years, almost paid off the mortgage.
They just can't afford it.
They simply can't. And that's how they lose the house. They lose the equity. They lose that legacy.
It feels like a betrayal of the whole homeownership dream.
It really is. The very thing meant to build wealth is, in these cases, actively destroying it. It's this displacement of generational wealth.
It's hard to wrap your head around. And then what happens after they can't pay? When the home is seized, it gets worse, doesn't it?
It does, because the system often isn't set up to give them back the value they built.
What do you mean? Walk us through that.
Okay, so the state or municipality seizes the home for the back taxes owed. Then they often sell it.
At market value, presumably, which could be that inflated price.
Correct, but here's the kicker. What the source calls legalized theft.
Okay.
The original homeowner, the one who just lost the house, they typically get none of the surplus profit from that sale.
Wait, none. So if the house sells for, say, $100,000 more than the taxes owed.
That $100,000 surplus, it doesn't go back to the former owner who built that equity over decades.
Where does it go?
It often goes to the government entity or sometimes private investors who buy tax lieners. The system basically profits from the dispossession.
Legalized theft starts to make a lot of sense then. Is there an example, like a specific case from the research?
Yeah, the research highlights of Mrs. Anderson. Her property value tripled between when she bought it and when it was seized.
Okay.
The state sold it at that much higher price. But all that extra value, it went to the new buyer.
Not a dime back to Ms. Anderson or her family.
Nothing beyond maybe covering the bare minimum of the tax debt itself. Decades of investment, just gone. The family's anchor vanished.
That's chilling. And you mentioned this isn't just isolated incidents. Where is this happening most? Are there hot spots?
Definitely. The research points to states with high property tax rates overall. As of early 2025, think Illinois, New Jersey, Connecticut, Nebraska, they're up there.
With rates like, what, 1.8%, 1.7%, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, Illinois around 1.825%, Jersey 1.773%, Connecticut 1.485%, Nebraska 1.435%. High burdens to begin with.
And then within those states, specific cities are flagged.
Right. Places like Chicago, Newark, Bridgeport, urban centers seeing rapid change where longtime homeowners get hit with these soaring assessments disproportionately.
So who's really bearing the brunt of this? You mentioned seniors.
Definitely elderly homeowners on fixed incomes. They're front and center. Also minority communities in those gentrifying neighborhoods.
Makes sense given the gentrification link.
And folks living in towns or cities that really lean heavily on property taxes for their budget.
And maybe don't have great oversight on how assessments are done.
Exactly. Plus, a crucial factor is that these communities often lack the resources, maybe the legal know-how or financial literacy, to fight back against unfair assessments.
So it just compounds the problem. They're hit harder and have fewer ways to challenge it.
Precisely. It's a nasty cycle.
And the racial aspect seems really stark. You mentioned Baltimore.
Yeah, the Baltimore example in the research is pretty revealing. Between 2019 and 2023, something like 92% of homes listed in tax sales were in majority non-white neighborhoods.
92%. But those neighborhoods don't make up 92% of the city, right?
Not even close. They only represent about 70% of city parcels. So a huge overrepresentation.
Wow. So it's not just economic, it's clearly hitting certain racial groups and geographic areas much harder.
Undeniably. The disparity is right there in the numbers.
So if things just keep going like this, what happens? What are the bigger consequences if we don't do anything?
Well, the outlook is grim, frankly. You're going to see more seniors losing their homes.
Ending up homeless or in shelters.
Tragically, yes. More families losing that generational wealth before it can even be passed on.
Undermining entire communities.
Yeah, continued destabilization as these extractive practices just hollow things out. The whole American dream idea. For these folks, it becomes a nightmare of being forced out.
It's a systemic breakdown, really.
It is. But the research doesn't just leave us there with the problem. It offers solutions.
Okay, good. What are some pathways forward? What does the research suggest?
One of the biggest ones is to just ban the seizure of surplus equity.
Meaning mandate that states have to return any extra money from a tax sale back to the former homeowner.
Exactly. If the house sells for more than the taxes and fees owed, that difference belongs to the person who owned the home.
That seems fundamentally fair, like basic. Is there pushback on that idea?
Well, some municipalities might argue they need the funds or it acts as a deterrent, but the research really argues that profiting off someone's misfortune like that is unjustifiable.
Especially when it often far exceeds the actual debt.
Right. Returning the surplus isn't just about money. It's about acknowledging the homeowner's investment and restoring some basic fairness.
Okay, banning surplus seizure. What else? How do we stop the unfair assessments in the first place?
Fair assessment reviews are key.
Yeah.
The research suggests things like requiring external audits, especially in areas where you see big discrepancies.
Bring in some outside eyes for accountability.
Transparency, accountability, yeah. And then specifically for seniors.
Property tax cap.
Exactly. Senior property tax caps or freezes to protect those on fixed incomes from hikes they just can't possibly manage. It's about creating a safety net.
That makes sense. What about empowering the homeowners themselves?
Huge need for public awareness campaigns. Making sure people in vulnerable spots know their rights, know how to appeal an assessment, know what help is available.
Because knowledge is power here, literally saving your home.
It can be, absolutely. And finally, holding the municipalities themselves accountable.
Oh.
Tracking and publishing data on things like racial disparities in tax sales. You have to see the problem clearly, track it, report it, and then act on it.
So really shining a light on where the inequities are happening?
You have to, otherwise it stays hidden.
This whole deep dive, it really shows this isn't just about taxes, is it?
Not at all. It's about dignity, really. About systems that can be manipulated. It's this quiet theft of wealth from people who, played by the rules, built their lives, built communities.
And with the population aging, this problem is only going to get bigger if we don't tackle it.
The stakes are incredibly high. More seniors losing everything, their homes, their security, their legacy.
Leaves you thinking, what we allow to happen to our elders today.
That's going to be the system we inherit ourselves down the road.